Hello, Dimitri Downing back here at MJ Unpacked, Meta Unshackled, another one of my favorite types of podcasts where we bring these wonderful, crazy conversations that we have with all kinds of people to you in the comfort of your own home or digital world, wherever it might be, even if it's in outer space or 500 years from now. Consider that.
We're there forever.
It's April 2023. I'm Dimitri Downing, and I'm still alive. So, thank you to our sponsors, Pure 5. Very special sponsor, Pure 5. Cali FX, incredible brand out of California. And the original Jack Herrera brand, which is coming to market near you in ways that you might not know yet. But anyways, we don't need to talk about that. So let me first introduce our co-host.
George Stanchev, Pure 5. Faster, better, cleaner extraction.
Faster, better, cleaner, and safer.
And safe.
Sexier.
Yummier.
You can add anything to it.
Yummier as consumers. Let's go there.
There's time crunch around here. People have meetings and stuff. So Jill might have to leave 15, 20 minutes in the podcast if she's flagged down by one of her people. And so, but we want to quickly get right into it. Jill, Jenny, thank you guys for joining us.
Our pleasure.
And we're going to first get into how you got into cannabis and how you got to where you're at today.
How we got into cannabis, man, oh man, it's been a journey. It's been a very short journey, actually, for me, but cannabis has been a part of my life basically forever. I'm a scientist. I came from pharmaceutical manufacturing compliance, so I was always an engineer bringing really awesome technology solutions to other industries that made drugs that I didn't really like so much. And then I discovered Orange Photonics. I discovered this awesome orange box in front of us called Light Lab here. Met the folks that invented it and just decided that I had to put all my energy and power and passion behind the mission that we are trying to develop.
And what year did you discover the Photonics machine, is it called?
Orange Photonics. It's a Light Lab portable cannabis analyzer just a couple of years ago. Yep,
right.
2 years ago.
And I've been seeing these things develop over the last... I've been in the industry for 10 years. And I've been watching these things. I think they're the coolest things ever, these machines that can test like this. And so 2 years ago, this is quite an endorsement. You said, I'm all in.
I'm all in, 100%. I literally called them up blind and said, guys, this is who I am. This is what I do. I've helped to bring technology to the forefront of other industries that made it simplified technology so that they could apply better quality control. And cannabis needs it, right? That's what we're all about here.
Absolutely.
Is better quality, better products, and really getting out from behind the laboratories. That's really the paradigm we're trying to shift here.
Now you test it and you have it now.
You test it in-house. Own those numbers yourselves, rather than the laboratory kind of being the god of all.
This is pretty cool. I'm excited to learn about this machine. I don't know about this machine in particular, but I'm excited to learn about it because of the level of endorsement that you're bringing to it. You
can't say I'm not into it. That's for sure. And it's people like Jenny, right? Like people like Jenny and her business and what she does. It's what we're all about. Operational excellence. It's not about like replacing that laboratory test. It's about all the times that you're waiting for a laboratory test to run your business.
Yeah, but to have I'm going to drop everything, change my world. I know this area, and now I'm coming to this because this is the shit. That kind of moment is like, it
was a blessing. Honest to God, it was a blessing for me because I knew there was no doubt about it. This is the path, and we really do have a mission to democratize this type of science. It's so accessible if you've got gajillions of dollars. All the big MSOs are utilizing HPLC to run their businesses.
Wait. HPLC.
HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. It's the technology that all laboratories and those big guys use to do their potency testing.
It's right here.
It's right here, though. We made an awesome $15,000 super simplified version so that, again, every operator has access to those numbers because you shouldn't be waiting 2 weeks for a laboratory to tell you where you are. You should be able to buy your disti, grow your flower, make your products, and know what they're going to tell you versus waiting for them to tell you.
Okay, well, $15K, thank you. I mean, you mentioned I was going to get to take home that, your machine. I didn't know it was so expensive.
Okay, so you're passing me the check under the table, right?
I'm just kidding. So let's get more into your machine here in a second. Just want to quickly introduce Jenny, sorry.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm with Jenny's Baked at Home. I'm one of the New York processors in New York, and I have a brand called Jenny's that is going to disrupt the market with sugar-free, dairy-free, organic, but sugar-free that is made with allulose, so it's glycemic 0 level and only increases protein for diabetics and friendly for keto and and what
So-
have you. And I use George's machine to produce all of
Yes.
my edibles, my vapes. It's just truly the best
And
tasting
you're
oil
in the
market.
process of shopping for and maybe buying one of Jenny's machines.
So that's I told Jill, and just
That's
let's just say Jill is like the badass of all women
Right.
ever that I've ever met. Hail.
No.
I'm not a processor or a manufacturer or a cultivator, but I want to own one.
So it's on my Christmas list.
Christmas.
It's totally on my Christmas
George.
list. And-
George, Christmas.
I'm Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I'm an orange Santa Claus.
If everybody out there wants to throw in a little like GoFundMe Christmas orange photonics for me, I would not say no.
No, I love it. Let's we'll talk about your companies, your status, and your licensing.
Okay.
But I know Jenny that Jill might have to leave here in a couple of minutes. What do you think of her machine? What's the testing like for you guys and stuff? How is that?
So it's obviously a huge barrier for a small company like myself that's self-funded and
Right.
has to go through so many tests. And let's say a test doesn't pass, then we have to redo the test over, and these tests are thousands of dollars.
Right. And right
So-
now, in April 2023, all the tests are intrastate, so and they're all different structured, and everybody's testing differently.
Right, and we have to use a trace and track software system, and in New York it's BioTrack. So it has to go all the way from, if it's seed to sale, you have to have the cultivator, the seed has to be tested, the flower has to be tested. So every supply chain line has to be tested. So after a while, this is daunting. The
Does that
cost.
test seeds?
It doesn't test the level of cannabinoids you usually see in a seed.
Okay.
Right? That's pretty low.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty low. Yeah. So if we could just skip a few steps getting it to the lab and at least do our own in-house R&D, then we're saving tons of money, tons of time. And I think, and now New York's not allowing us to take our own samples to the labs. So they have another level of financial responsibility, a burden upon us. So
And the timeline associated
and the
with it.
timeline. So, and we, and every batch has to be run. So we're not, you can't just, say that you have that flower. Well, every time you run that machine for X amount of time, you are required to test it after that. So
So do you want to finish selling her the machine now?
Just layering it up.
No,
I'm
I'm just setting you up. You know.
Okay. I love the
Take
alley-oop.
over.
But you know what? That's the thing. If somebody's like Jenny and they're tuned into where the dollar and the minutes are going for their business, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has an ROI, and most vertical operators, it has an ROI of less than 6 months. All I have to do is show you where you're spending money on your testing now, and then just add in a whole bunch of value touch points that are going to help your business make a bunch more money. We don't want you to throw away cannabinoids on your spent material. That's money. Throw it on a light lab. Make sure that you're not throwing 5 or 7% away on your spent material after you extract it, because that's great cannabinoid value for your gummies, right? So that's the big picture that we're
Exactly.
all about.
I have two of their machines since the version 1, so I upgraded into the newer versions. I'm testing every day.
Yeah,
apparently they have a trade-in program.
Gummies, extracts, tinctures,
So,
everything.
you better
so,
believe
so
it.
you,
Christmas, birthdays, it's all there.
But George has extraction machines, but you also own these machines.
Yeah, I have two of them.
You have
You
two of
cannot extract without testing. No, it's
Of
all
course.
connected.
So why do you have two? Well, yes, you have the original, and then you say
I have two of everything.
version
Yeah,
2.0.
George is spoiled, is what it
I'm
comes down
collecting
to.
stuff like all the science.
Right.
You can find it in my lab.
Do you have the version 3.0?
He will soon.
There you
We
He
were
will
talking about this
soon.
yesterday. That's the newer version. I just learned about this yesterday, so we're gonna have it
You
next
see,
week.
this one has the nice lightweight carrying case.
They've always been 13.5 pounds. They've always been orange, and they've always tested cannabis. Now we do like edibles
Listen,
and stuff.
I have 4 siblings. I'm the third. I take hand-me-downs.
Oh, there you go. They just cut you out.
No,
but
I'm
what
fine
else-
with this. He
what-
gets a new one. She gets his old one.
Yes.
We'll work this out,
But
guys.
so what does this all do? Explain to the public that doesn't know what these machines do.
So chromatography is separation science, right? You give a whole bunch of mixed together molecules, in this case cannabinoids, to the instrument and it will separate them. It's kind of the analogy we like to use is like, remember when you're in high school, you had to get the end of another hallway and it was full of kids? If you're a cool kid, you're taking your time walking down that hallway. Well, traversing that column in chromatography, you're THCA. You're a slow-moving cannabinoid. If you're a nerdy kid getting down that hallway, then you're CBGA. The point is, that column, that hallway, separates every single cannabinoid so that it can be measured very, very specifically by a detection system under that box. Okay. So instead of like a guesstimate at a THCA number and a CBD number that's got like 3 to 5% wiggle room, that's what you get with a spectroscopy tool, as a small like handheld spectroscopy tool. When you use chromatography, you can break down each individual cannabinoid less than 2 parts per million. Okay, it's no BS, the science that's going on inside of this box. And really, it's much more reproducible than you would get from any fleet of laboratory level instruments. That's kind of the magic that we've done here too.
And you have George's endorsement.
I've got George, and George has got the endorsement on the first gen. Now we're in an attitude of Kaizen here.
I had the
it's
second
only
gen
gotten
too,
better and better. Yeah, so thank you for that. I appreciate that, but we definitely got to get you upgraded, my friend.
So why is her machine better than the other ones you checked out?
Well, usually when you buy an HPLC, it's anywhere between 60 to 85,000.
Right.
That's an expensive
price
piece of
point.
Instrument,
Very nice.
And and it needs
good endorsement there.
Scientists to run it. Usually a chemist, PhD, things. They
Ease
have
of
to
use.
make the methods and things. So, there are a number of companies that are doing that for years. But they came with this innovative idea to make that affordable and
for
still
the
keep...
And for the layman.
Yeah.
For the layman, that's the
It's
point. We
fully
want it to
automated.
be a
It tells
tool
you-
for everyone in your operation, not just the chemist that you might have to replace 6 months from now. It's going to be a tool for your growers. It's going to be a tool for your extractors. It's going to be a tool for the kitchen. We put them on carts in vertical operations. They get rolled around. They got a home for 1 day here, a home for 2 days there, and everybody's earning value off of it.
And every step it tells you, now add the solvent, now add the extract, now shake it. And it gives you a barcode. Then you have it on your full report on the phone. So it's really made for everyone.
Appreciate that. And we're continuing to improve. We've got lots of exciting stuff coming this summer too. Terpenes and we got a mushroom box. I'm not going to say that too loud, but if you're...
What are you testing with the mushroom box?
Well, psilocin and psilocybin.
Wow.
About 6 months ago, our team looked at the commercial problem that we started to see happening in terms of potency and label claims in commercially available products coming out of Oregon and Colorado, and realized that just as we see with commercially available products in the cannabis industry, oftentimes potency doesn't match. But the implication of psilocybin being 100-fold off in potency claims, it's a big difference, right? That's a big difference. That might do something to someone's brain. So our engineering team, kudos to them. They went right to work. It's an HPLC in a box when we got to the algorithms and making it work for all the goodies that come with mushrooms.
Now you tell me that you have something for the 7OH Kratom, and they're going to be really impressive.
Already done, my friend. We've got a couple of boxes out there being utilized for this molecule as well. So if it's a botanical molecule, Light Lab is awesome at separating it, so we can talk about that too.
Can you make one that tests both cannabis and mushrooms and save the money?
Well, how about you pay me a little bit more and you got it?
I don't know.
I'd rather sell you one box, absolutely, that solves all the problems, right?
I just want a little handheld version.
When we're getting smaller, again, Kaizen, give me time. I know what's under the box. It's just a matter of making it tinier, but we don't want them to walk away on people either.
Well, if you have George's endorsement, I mean, he's our science. He's like Spock. I'm like Captain Kirk, and he's like Spock. I just keep talking and keep running and keep charging through things, and he looks at me like.
George is a businessman, though. He's not a scientist. Let's not BS. He's a businessman, and that's why he loves the box. I'm the nerd, but George gets it because it's made him money.
Yeah, he also knows the value. So. But anyways, you should trade up, George.
Yeah.
He's like, I was sold.
But hey, we love Arizonans, that's for sure. I lived in Arizona for 10 years, so we appreciate the work that META does. You have one of the strongest communities in Arizona, and we hope from the national perspective that what you're doing through META in Arizona kind of gains momentum and can be a model for other places.
Well, we've offered the model to a lot of organizations, and you're going to see them changing, using the model. We really don't care that much, because it's still intrastate. META USA is going to be an interstate organization, but there's no interstate commerce yet. So we're sort of developing META USA for like last year and a half. We're developing around the interest of brands. 10 years in this industry, an industry association or an industry itself should be developed around the interests of the consumers and the patients. And if you're going to develop an organization or association, you want to make sure the mission statement and the goals are serving patients and consumers first. What serves patients and consumers better than innovation, competition, access, less barriers? And there's a lot of people in the supply chain at this moment that are more concerned about protecting their interests as they advance the cannabis legalization than just advancing cannabis legalization. So Media USA wants to be tied with the mission that's doing the right thing in general. So we had to wait for the brands to get to a point where they were elevated to a point where they're successful to a point, specifically the big brands out of California, Colorado, and they're coming from different states. So they have money to support organizations like Media USA. But we don't want to be tied to business people in general who wake up in the morning and have to worry or not worry or contemplate or reflect upon the regulatory changes and the legalization changes like the interstate commerce, international commerce, and think to themselves, how do I
Get my slice, make the most of it.
I was going to say, how do I protect my investors, which is a fair duty, but in protecting their investors, they might be doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And that's, so Media USA is here to do the right thing.
Cool.
With anybody who wants to join. And if you want to do the wrong thing, be very vocal about what you do. We'll
So
see.
you can filter them right out, right?
Well, we'll see how that works out for you, because the patients and the consumers will eventually find out.
You've got to love that about the
You
plan.
know,
It always
so-
brings the truth to the surface,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
No, and that's the transparency and accountability that the end of prohibition brings. So we love talking about that. And of course, testing is another wonderful aspect about bringing transparency and accountability to the plan. Which is
100%.
fantastic. And in no part of that do we not support 100% unequivocally the need for proper testing,
100%.
proper licensing, which is against kind of licensing caps, because that's kind of an abomination of human history.
It's against why we all started here in the first place, but
Or started America. But we don't need to reflect too much about that. But let's move back to Jenny, because she's been sitting here patiently, and I know she's doing some really cool stuff. And one of the coolest things about MG Impact has been meeting all the East Coast people. And if you got to go, don't worry about it.
and I'm sorry, guys, I do have to
Yeah,
pop
no,
off.
'cause we're-
I'm already 5 minutes late in the
we're-
next one.
we're-
But guys, it's been so great. Shout out to awesome Arizona
Yes, take that
brands
photo,
like
take that photo.
Shango and Quick Liquids. We gotta love you guys. But
yeah, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the New York market structure, what's going on in New York, the whole East Coast area with you, because this is very important. And thank you,
Thank
Jill,
you,
for
Jill.
being here.
Thank you
So
to
nice to
Dimitri.
meet you.
Thank
Yes.
Jenny.
What's your website, Jill? How do people find to get in touch with you?
Yeah, please LinkedIn me first and foremost, Jay Carrero at orangephotonics.com. Of course, LinkedIn or Instagram, Jill Cannabis Nerd. I'd love to reach out and talk with anybody that is interested in learning more and talking with me more about what you're doing.
And as you come to cannabis conferences, find their booth, find them, find Jill.
Find
Talk
the
to
orange
her.
glow. You never miss us. We're orange everywhere. Peace, guys.
So,
Take care.
so Jenny, you have doing, and this is the coolest thing that I have found, except for the photonics orange box, which is a cool thing in and of itself, and of course Jill is cool. But learning about New Jersey and not Jersey, New York and the whole East Coast area and all the people here and the licensing structure, I have learned so much, and that's an amazing thing. So you are a processor license.
Right. So I had the hemp license for 5. I was in the New York program for
The-
6 years.
And you're required to have the hemp license for 2 years prior to becoming.
So no, there are 3 different licenses that are right now. There's the cultivation license, there's the processing, manufacturing, and distribution license, and then there's the card holders, the dispensaries, and that's social equity. So if you were in the supply chain,
That's card CAURD.
yeah, and if you were a cultivator or a processor, manufacturer, then you were in the hemp pilot program. If you were a cultivator, it was stipulated that you had to grow 2 out of the 5 years that you were in the program in order to continue to grow. I was a cultivator, but I didn't grow 2 out of the 4 years. I concentrated on processing and manufacturing.
Okay.
So I got the processing and manufacturing license as part of the 2-year conditional license in New York.
But when they came up with that 2-year thing, you would have had to be doing stuff previously that you were unaware that you had to do, right?
So yes, so we were in the Ags and Market Department for 5 years
Right.
under the hemp pilot program. the last year, they moved the processing and manufacturing out of the Ags department and put in the New York Department of Health to stage it for a minute. And when they did that, it was mandatory that we GMP'd, good manufacturing practice, our facility.
So in the lobbying, the lead up to this, the hemp people, the hemp advocates, kind of knew to get themselves well positioned in this whole thing.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the RO screwed it all up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's unshackled. We do not lie here.
Yeah. Yeah. So they moved it in.
I'm picking up what's going down here in New York.
So they move it into that, and it's like the liquor license that it's contingent on a location.
Right.
So if you were in your basement, for instance, extracting, then you needed to come above ground, get a GMP facility, get legit, and they gave you 1 year to get there.
Unless you're extracting with the Pure 5 machine, then we don't talk about it.
Yeah, no, but
Can start immediately.
yeah, that is immediately. So I was granted I have a 12,000 square foot extraction facility in Hudson, New York.
12,000 square foot extraction facility in Hudson, New York.
Sits on 21 acres in beautiful Hudson Valley. We're 1 mile from the Hudson River. And
why do you need 21 acres for a 12,000 square foot extraction facility?
Because part of my license is I can bring up to 3 cultivators onto my property. And I think it would be wonderful if I could support, especially maybe female cultivators that would want to come.
But you're waiting to get that cultivation license.
I don't per se want to have the cultivation license, but another cultivator could come onto my property and they could cultivate under my license. We would just separate the licenses out.
But you can't cultivate under your license.
I can't currently.
Well, who knows what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, I think that there is some type of, I can go backwards, but I can't go forward once the new licenses come into effect.
But you can bring in raw product, you can extract it.
Correct.
You can package it, manufacture products.
I can do everything, soup to nuts. I can take flour and package it, bottle it, jar it. I can do pre-rolls. I can do extraction, everything from, flour to beverage.
So this is wonderful. So, and there's no distribution license in New York.
Right now, the distribution is under my license. So I pick up from the cultivators and I take to the dispensaries.
Can the dispensaries buy directly from the cultivators?
They can. They can only buy flour and pre-rolls.
They can buy packaged flour from cultivators.
Correct.
So
and
they can be
distributors
distributors
can't be
too.
juiced.
Okay. So they can't be infused.
Juiced.
Juice,
Infused.
yeah. Okay. I like that juice. I hear that. Is that Destiny? You agree with that? Juice? Does that work? She's my pre-roll infused expert. So this is great. No, we're learning a lot here. So yeah, there's no distributor license, so you can distribute. The cultivators can distribute. Excellent. And so under that 12,000 square foot extraction machine, of course, you're using a Pure 5 machine.
I am, of course.
And that's up and running already.
It's up and running.
Good.
Yeah. We've already done a couple test batches at the show here today. We're handing out the our live resin carts.
What month did you start operationally? What month and year?
This month.
This month. Okay. Yeah. It's all coming together.
I mean, I've been operational for 6-7 months, but with George's machine in the last month.
Okay. So
before that, I was CO2.
So you have your first brands that you created in New York.
I did. I just relaunched my brand.
And what are the names of those again?
It's one brand. It's Jenny's.
It's just called Jenny's.
Jenny's.
I thought you said there was another brand too. I'm sorry. So you have Jenny's, and that's a vape pen.
We do edibles, but our edibles are different. I don't think anybody in the United States is producing what we're doing.
But you do Jenny's vapes too.
We do Jenny's vapes. We do petite Jenny's, which are 0.5 gram J's.
Do we have any here today?
I do, but they're at my booth.
Okay, why don't you bring some samples for our producer?
I will. I'm on the job.
Okay. No, so you.
And then I do. So it is very unique. The product that we offer, we do sugar-free, like I mentioned earlier, that's allulose, which is it's a 0 glycemic, so it doesn't spike your sugar level.
Nice, good job.
And so it's an alternative for people that don't want sugar or can't have sugar, or are just watching their weight. So
nice.
It really encompasses. But not only that, we are kosher, and we are certified organic ingredients, everything that we source, and we do dairy free, sugar free caramels, things
Our
that you
producer's
just
happy
can't,
with that.
all vegan, very very friendly to anybody wanting an alternative, but really just trying to disrupt this market of candy that we're selling this beautiful plant that's so natural and healing and healthy. Why not offer a vehicle that you can also have a wonderful, I mean, and I add nutraceuticals to all my products. So if it's a gummy for the day, it'll have ginseng in it with CBG, and we'll add different components.
How many how many what's his card?
Card.
CAURD.
Yeah, how many card holders?
There's 165 out there, licenses.
166 was the number I heard.
Yeah, and so how many are open right now?
6.
6. So are you selling to them?
Not yet. So we launch July, the 1st of July. We're waiting on to finish our packaging to come,
Okay.
and then we're ready to hit the ground.
And Jenny, I'm looking at your logo, which is a white logo with a red heart.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. How did you come with that? What it means?
So it's Jenny loves me. So the idea is, and we can't make claims in the cannabis space. We can't claim that it that it helps with sleep. We can't make claims that it might reduce cancer growth. We're just not allowed to make any sort of health claims. So I'm not saying this is heart healthy or anything like that. I'm just trying to say is that there's healthy alternatives, loving healthy alternatives to cannabis, and so the heart represents what my mission is to give to consumers, and that's a good product.
I like that. What's that noise?
So it's lunch.
Oh, so that's mandatory. So those 6 stores, and I haven't been in a retail store right now since I've been here. What processed products are they carrying, and where are they getting them?
So they're getting it both from cultivators that are able to supply flower straight to the dispensaries,
Right.
and processors that are doing things like gummies and vapes, and what have you.
How many processors are up and running?
I'm going to guess there's 40
some odd licenses.
There's 40 licenses, but not all of them are processors and manufacturers. So in this state, we call a processor an extractor. A manufacturer, somebody who just makes the brand, the finished product. So not all of those 40 are able to process and manufacture.
Is a separate license for processing manufacturing?
They do. They've sort of in-house allocated this. You can process and manufacture. You can only manufacture. So I think there's about 35 that can process and manufacture in that group of 40, and I would say at least half of them are up and at least getting ready to hit the market here in the next month or two.
Okay, what part of New York are you in again?
I hail from Brooklyn, but I am my facilities in Hudson Valley. It's also called in cannabis in New York. It's called the Capital District.
Okay,
I'm close to Albany.
So you're part of your business model, I assume, is working with California brands to bring them in.
It has not been because
California. Change it.
Well, I would like to find a nice California group that didn't want to come in. California had their issues for a while, and when New York opened up, they sort of saw it as a lifeline to get them out of the ship that was sinking. And so I think they came into New York with not the right intention in the beginning, but we've had a year to prove that we are able and competent to set up space, and we don't necessarily need them, but we would like to partner with them.
Yeah, well, having 200 conferences globally traveled around for cannabis, the demand for, I'm an Arizona guy myself. It is what it is. The demand for California related manufactured, cultivated products, something tied to California, is going to increase. It exists and it will always be there, and it's going to increase. And I would suggest making sure that those brands that come to the New York market legally or illegally, hopefully legally, come through your processing center so that you get a piece of that business. Otherwise, they're going to come through somebody else. So I just my
Thank you.
simple business advice is find the best ones, grab them, let them pass on through.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
And, you know, they'll be tested and manufactured safely through you or through other people as well. But that's just something that the consumers want, and the patients deserve to have too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean, there's
sure-
no doubt that California has the best flour in the world. I mean, and I think they've advanced the industry, and that we could learn from them 100%. But you know, New York has its different set of growing and
And then you know, your secret sauce, your secret recipe, your secret process. You know, Arizona iced tea is manufactured in New York.
Yeah.
You know, so you never know what's going to happen. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, you don't need to waste your time on it, but they're coming like in waves, and we see it happening in Arizona. We've seen this gradual transition from the Arizona OG brands back in 2013, 14, 15. You know, there's like 5 or 6 or 7 still holding on. And then, you know, like the Timeless and the Big Bros, and these guys are holding on. But then you have this wave of California brands and the money and the knowledge and the marketing and that panache behind it, and it's just taking over. And so you have all the manufacturers, all the license holders in Arizona saying, okay, I get it. We're going to become these distributors. We're going to become these license holders for the California brand. And it's going to be manufactured here, or it's, you know, the THC can't cross state lines. But we're going to have it long term. So I'm just going to throw out some simple business. If I grab it, because you got 12,000 square feet, you probably need, you know, 4,000 to do Jenny's.
Yeah.
And Jenny's will be the top brand in New York. And hopefully as it expands, then it can go to other places. And that will be fantastic as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think power in numbers. I mean, I think if great brands got together, you know, I mean, we've seen it with Procter and Gamble and all the other companies that bring in different brands that are culturally in sync, then, you know, you're able to have a lot more control about what's put out into the market, and really, you know, create stores that are responsible and selling the good products to the customers, and they one-stop shop. And you know, we need to diversify with all different manufacturers, but if you have what they need in a, you know, plethora of products, then
definitely, especially because there's no criminal sanctions in New York for not participating in the tax and regulate market. I would definitely grab, you know, make sure that you're known as a hub. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I don't
Thank
know you.
I
You know, I don't have
love
any.
that.
I don't have a processing line license myself. If I did, I would be doing this. We should maybe work together. You know, I can hook you up with the, but like Stizzy's coming. Stizzy's talking to somebody.
Yep.
And they might be done already with their deal.
Yep.
And Stizzy's everybody's gonna be demanding it, you know.
Yep.
And while you're developing the better baby, there's nothing wrong with Stizzy. While you're developing the baby Jenny's, Jenny.
Jenny's, yeah.
Does it go Jenny or Jenny's?
Well, my name is Jenny, but the company's Jenny's.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I'm kind of confused in my little mind. Just thinking about it from marketing, branding's perspective. Jenny's. Okay, cool. I got it. I'm excited. My producer and Destiny over there saying, just shut up, Dimitri. Have her go back to her booth so we can get some Jenny's here already. You know. But no, so it's good. We'll keep talking. What else should people know about New York? I mean, this has been really, really informative. And what else is like unique about it from your experience and understanding other markets and stuff?
I mean, I think the rollout's been tough for us. I mean, what people don't know is that we've a lot of, you know, hurry up and wait. Financially, it's been hard to keep alive, because 6 dispensaries is not, you know, a supply chain. This is an issue for the supply chain. New York gave the dispensaries 90-day terms, so we became their bank for the dispensary. So it's been a very, very, very tough rollout for people like me that have to stay in business and to wait for the rollout. So it's
stupidity.
It's a lot of, you know, support us that are, you know, please go to the dispensary.
By rule gave them 90-day terms. Sorry, keep going.
So, you know, understand that the processors, the cultivators are doing everything we can to get to market, to stay alive, to keep the, you know, not saying anything bad about all of them, but to keep the MSOs out. let the entrepreneurs have a chance and champion what we're doing. So I just say, I support the dispensaries, understand we're doing the best, try to be not too critical. When we fall down a few times, we don't have a lot of capital to throw at this. We're just people like everybody else trying to wedge ourselves and stay into this industry, especially in New York. But it's going to be a beautiful, especially New York has always been about the entrepreneur, right? About the immigrants, about if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. So small mom and pop restaurants, the bodegas, all of this, like that's what I represent. I represent New York. I'm a second immigrant family, and I'm second generation. I come from, and this is what I mean. It's the American dream, So give us a chance.
Should work together. I can make you like Cindy McCain, and let me tell you who Cindy McCain is. Cindy McCain is John McCain's. Well, John McCain passed away.
Yeah. But
Cindy McCain was wife of John McCain, and her family owned the liquor distributorship.
That's right.
In Arizona, and so they might have had a liquor that they manufacture, but they control all the liquors coming into Arizona and then selling them out.
Yeah.
With your license and 21 acres, 12,000 square feet, and his machine extracting top-notch oil, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
All you need is capital and a guy like me to bring in all the best brands from the country, and boom, 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 boom. And it's all about the way you write your contracts, but I'm not going to tell that little secret over the air. So anyways, but it's been fantastic talking to you.
Thank you. You too. This is really enjoyable.
Friend of George's, friend of mine. So does she have the 2.0 machine, or does she have the 1.0?
No, she has the latest.
Oh, okay.
I don't have that 2, 3, and it's the Max machine, which is the fastest.
It is truly the most delicious oil I've ever smoked and tasted.
Industry needs to hook on it, and Jenny's the way in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to buy Jenny's product to get this oil.
Well, why don't we just bring Jenny's to Arizona then?
Yeah, we can have her brand in Arizona. Absolutely.
That's another thing we could do together. This industry is filled with possibilities. But so, how do people get in touch with you?
You can follow me on.
Get in touch with her through me.
Yeah, JennyLovesMe.com. JennyLoves.me. Not .com. It's .me. And you can follow me on Instagram at JennyLovesMe.
Excellent. Thank you, Jenny and Jill, wherever you are. Jill, we have your name tag. She's got to come back eventually. George, can you find her?
Yeah.
All right, George is very good at finding people. Thanks.
This is really nice to speak with you.
Yes.
Thank you both.
No, we appreciate you too. And this is another episode of Meat Unshackled. And thank you to our sponsors, Jack Herrera, the original brand, the legacy brand, Cali Effects, one of the sexiest things coming out of California, both coming to markets near you, and of course, Pure 5, the #1 extraction machine in global cannabis.